What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Thursday night football live show, taking your start sit questions for about 15 minutes here, right up until kickoff. I'm Tera Roberts with FantasyPros, and I'll be here with you answering all of your questions pretty as direct as we can so we can get through as much as humanly possible because I know you guys got a lot of questions. And of course, if I'm not able to answer your question, you can always go to the Start Sit Assistant to set your lineup at fantasypros.com/myplaybook or the Fantasy Pros app. Now, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right. Start right off here. Baker, Lawrence, or Mariota. I have Mariota is the most trustworthy of that option here. I do like Baker a lot, and Lawrence as well, but Mariota in a great matchup, high upside. Got to go with Mariota there. Do I start Emeka Egbuka? I have Debo and Jacoby Myers on my bench. No, I would not. I would start both of them over Egbuka. My preference there would be Jacoby Myers. So I would go with Jacoby Myers as the one that I would start there. Good evening. Help a mother beat a son. Perfect. All right. I identify with you on that one. Help a mother beat her son in her first ever playoff. Need a PPR wide receiver. Choose between Wandale, Flowers, Watson, also a flex, Wandale, Flowers, Quinshot Judkins, Woody, Flowers, and Debo. Okay. For a wide receiver between those, I would choose Wandale. Good matchup there. And then for your flex option, got to go running back there with Quinshot Judkins there. Good luck. I hope that you beat him. I'm a mom too, so I totally get that. Torn between Evans and McMillan. I assume that is Tedderoa McMillan on that one. I would go with McMillan on there, as long as that's Tedderoa. Let's see here. Mike Evans or Chase Brown. I would go with Chase Brown on that one. Should I start Travis Kelce or Kyle Pitts? I have Kyle Pitts, I think one spot higher there. He's cleared, active, good to go. He's been on a hot streak there. I do expect a bounce back from Kelce, but we're giving the edge to Pitts there. Evans or Watson, standard league. It's interesting because I think Evans will get there. If Evans get there, it's going to be from a touchdown, but I would still lean towards Watson. I know it's a difficult matchup, awful, right? But this has also been a difficult matchup for Evans as well with AJ Terrell. So I do still lean Christian Watson on that one. Are we starting Egbuka tonight? He's a flex option. I do have Godwin ranked one spot higher than him. Again, like guys like Debo, McMillan, who else? Wandale, who else could I go over? Just ask away there. Low in flex option, but yeah, there's a lot of guys that I would start over him. Again, bumping him down. He had a great game last time around. But if Mike Evans is not going to play a full complement of snaps, that means that when Mike Evans is not on the field, that Emeka Egbuka will be seeing AJ Terrell. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind there. It does make him a little bit riskier there. Baker or Jordan Love, please. Jordan Love matchup is very difficult. I would go ahead and start Baker there. Emeka Egbuka or Tet, full PPR. I would go with Tet on that one. Let's see here. Yeah, lots of McMillan and Evans. I get it. McMillan had an okay day against New Orleans last time around there. I would still lean towards him. Much safer option. Should be good for a good safe floor of 10 fantasy points. And if he can get the touchdown, obviously he's been on a little bit of a hot streak there. It'll be a better day as well. Torn between Egbuka, Devontae as my wide receiver. Devontae on that one. I know Jalen Hurts, right? But we should get a bounce back this week. Better matchup here. And at least, targets have been steadily coming through here. Yes, it's tilted a lot back towards A.J. Brown, but I still trust Devontae as a wide receiver too there. And then should I choose between one of or you're saying or between one of the running backs, Amarian, Rico, Blake, or Manungai? I would play Amarian over Devontae. Yeah. So apples to apples, Devontae over Egbuka, but I would play Amarian over Devontae. Bears or Rams defense? I lean towards the Rams defense. Well, no, it's tough. I actually go with the Bears defense on that one. Pick two, half PPR, Neal, Egbuka, Myers. Gotta go with Neal and Myers on that one. Watson or Evans? Watson. Evans or Neal. As long as did you say it's full PPR? Yeah, full PPR on that one. I would go with Neal. Oh my gosh, we're saying Neal's name a lot. Evans is still startable over low end guys, but again, you're taking on the risk there because he's not playing a full complement of snaps there. Evans or Myers, I would go with Myers there. Evans or Flowers. Evans had 0 fantasy points in this last matchup, but again, I do know that Flowers is going to be on the field for his normal amount of snaps there. Baker or Darnold, I would go with Baker over Darnold here. I don't dislike Darnold this week. Fine streaming option. Baker just ultimately, I think, has the higher upside there. Is Ryan Flournoy viable with CD? We've seen him get a touchdown a couple of times with CD and George Pickens healthy there, but that touchdown only resulted in like 9 fantasy points. So it's very, very limited ceiling. Floor would be super low there. If you're in a desperation deep league, maybe, but for the most part, we got to pass by it. Half PPR, Vidal or Algier, or I can pick up Singletary. I don't mind picking up Singletary there, although I do think Vidal is a very viable option. They're going to lean on the run. They can't throw. Offensive line is not working from a pass perspective in terms of protecting Justin Herbert there. So Vidal and Singletary are very close. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember which one I have ranked higher. I want to say that it's Vidal that I have ranked higher. Travis Kelce or Dalton Kincaid. I like Dalton Kincaid in this matchup. Over 100 yards the first time around there. Godwin or Ladd in flex, extremely close there. I lean towards Godwin. Ladd is going to have to get the touchdown to get there. Godwin can get to at least double-digit fantasy points, right? So just based off pure volume. And he does have the easier coverage in this matchup here. So I low-key don't mind going with Godwin over Ladd. Ooh, drop Ibuka to pick up Emmanuel Wilson. Yes, I would do that. It's good. It's a big risk because obviously someone else could go in there and swoop up Emeka Ibuka rest of season and maybe something happens in terms of injury to the other wide receivers there. But there's a good chance that we might not get Josh Jacobs this week. I would take that risk for sure. For sure. Start Mike Evans, Jaden Reed, or Darius Slayton. I'm okay with starting Jaden Reed. Ladd or Evans, I would still go with Ladd on that one. Ibuka or Ladd. Thanks, Tara. You're a saint. This one is a high risk situation for both of these guys. I can lean towards Ibuka. Go with Ladd. Go with Ladd. It's the safer option in terms of him having the more solid floor there. It's abysmal situation for both of these guys, unfortunately. But I think I lean towards taking the risk there with Ladd. Pitts or Andrews. Yep, I would go with Pitts. Go ahead and go with Pitts here. Or both and bench Genty or Warren. No, I would just Andrews popped up on the injury report. Also, he is touchdown dependent there. I would go ahead and start Pitts and then start either Genty or Warren. My preference there is to go with Genty. I like a tiny little smidge there. Cousins or Shedeur? I have Shedeur ranked higher than Cousins. Better matchup there. Yes. I did not think I would be saying start Shedeur Sanders this week, but there we go. Shedeur. Let's see. Would you go with McLaughlin or McPherson against Cincinnati? I don't remember kicker rankings off the top of my head, but I'm like 90% certain that I have McPherson higher, I believe. But you've got Bucky and Ibuka. If you're going heavy on the Tampa Bay, it's fine to go ahead and pivot there to McPherson. Ladd with the Christmas tree. Evans or Ladd? I would go with Ladd. Bears or Bucs defense? I would go with the Bucs defense. Go ahead and start them. Sills. Hodge, I assume Hodgen or Durham tonight. Or if you're saying, okay, sorry, I thought you were saying Isaiah Hodgins. I would go with Sills. I don't mind him. I moved him a little bit up in the rankings. Obviously abysmal last week, but before that was kind of like in the wide receiver 30 to 40 range. So it could get you a little something there. I'm okay with going with Sills. Full PPR, Ibuka or Myers. I'm really good with Myers there. Really good with Myers. Half PPR, sit one, Ibuka, Lamb, Metcalf, Tet, McMillan, Woody Marks, Chase Brown, Kareem. Yeah, you got to sit Ibuka on that one. Everybody else is super high upside there. I lean towards Ibuka is the one that you sit there. Pitts or Likely. I still have Pitts higher than Likely. Likely a lot on a little hot streak here, but ultimately I think Pitts is the more solid option there. because touchdowns could always tilt back to Mike Evans there. By the way, guys, if you were enjoying this live stream and you want more live streams like this, please be sure to give us a like on this video, on the stream, and then also subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Helps us out, and we really appreciate the support. So thank you so much on that one. Tampa Bay versus Tampa Bay here. Emeka or Godwin. I have Godwin ranked higher by one spot there. Evans or Sutton? I don't mind Sutton this week. Again, not a ton of upside against Green Bay, but floor should still be very solid there. Just ignore what DJ Moore did. That's DJ Moore things, okay? Look more towards Luther Burden's production. It's more of a comparison there. Nice solid floor there. Thoughts on Darnell Mooney? Low end flex option. I don't trust it. Ultimately, he needs a touchdown to get there in any way, shape, or form. Matchup is obviously not terrible. They will be chasing points more than likely here. If you have to go there, yes. But if you have the ability to bench him and go with someone that has higher upside, I would do that. Kincaid or Pitts? I have Kincaid slightly higher on that one. Evans or BTJ? Ooh, Evans or BTJ? I have Lamb and Rice as my other two receivers there. You know, on this one, I might go ahead and take the risk with Evans because ultimately, you know, we saw last week is probably the most upside that BTJ has there. This will probably be the one situation where I say, okay, I want to take that risk because I know BTJ has a limited ceiling. We could also get Parker Washington back this week. He was limited, so that could hurt BTJ as well. So, yeah, I'm okay with risking it with Evans there. Evans or Wandale? I would go Wandale. Algier, Pollard, or Sharbs? I have Sharp the highest there. Pick two: Swift, Rodriguez, Stevenson, Manungai. You know, I don't want to tie myself down. I don't mind the Chicago running backs, but I don't know if I want to tie myself down to both of them there. I might go Swift and then Rodriguez, given the matchup being very good there. Mike, Isaiah Evans, Reed, or Adonai for wide receiver 2. I don't trust Adonai because we don't know who the quarterback will be this week. Between Reed and Mike, Jaden Reed is the safer option. I don't mind him in the matchup with Denver. Yeah, I don't mind him too bad in that one. Emeka, Corum, or Devin Neal. As long as it's full PPR, I would go with Devin Neal. If it's half PPR or standard, then go with Emeka on that one. Terry or Evans? Terry in the good matchup against the Giants. Like Terry a lot this week. Top 15 receiver. Feel good about it. Nope, we already did that one. Stafford or Lamar? I have Stafford ranked higher. But Stafford's my overall QB2 this week, and I'm pretty sure that's Fantasy Pros consensus as well. Baker Mayfield or Stafford? We're going Stafford over him as well, for sure. This is a good one. Tyler Warren or Isaiah Likely? Low-key, Phillip Rivers starting could actually maybe benefit Tyler Warren if that's about as far as he can throw. I don't know. Maybe. Just saying. But Isaiah Likely matchup is good there. On a little bit of a hot streak. We already saw him in this matchup 2 weeks ago. So we're rolling with Isaiah Likely on this one. I trust it a little more. Flowers or Ibuka in full PPR? Both of these again, I think I did this one earlier. Both of these again, very risky here. I do still lean towards Zay Flowers though. Tyler Warren or Fannin? Fannin has moved up a lot in rankings this week. He has moved up to like tight end 4, 5, 6-ish. So Fannin on that one. Good one here. Dart or Mariota? I have Mariota one spot higher. I like them both a lot this week. Obviously playing each other. Obviously terrible defenses on both sides. But I trust Mariota a little bit more there. And obviously the better weapons as well. Pitts or Ladd? Full PPR flex spot. If you want to go the safe route, go Kyle Pitts. I think we're good for a solid 10 fantasy points. If you're in a position where you need the high upside swing, I might go ahead and risk it that Ladd can get the touchdown there. Flex, Evans or Jaden Higgins. I would go ahead and risk it with Evans there. Drake May or Joe Burrow. I have Drake May ranked higher on that one. Genty or Michael Wilson or Blake Corum. If it's full PPR, I can lean towards Michael Wilson on that one. Dart or Purdy? I like Purdy a lot this week. Good matchup. We saw what Shedeur did to them last week there. So again, on that one, I do like him a lot. This one I love. Ladd versus Jennings. I just, said I love Purdy in this matchup. I also like Kittle in this matchup, and I love Jawan Jennings in this matchup as well. So Jawan Jennings on that one. And then let's see, what can we get one more here? Stafford or Purdy. That's a new one there. It is Stafford over Purdy. All right. I appreciate you guys. It's kickoff time, 17:15 or 8:15, 7:15 my time. I got to wrap it up here. I appreciate you all. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the awesome questions. Good luck to you all. And if you have any other tough questions, obviously, and I didn't get to them because there were a ton that came in, again, feel free to use the Start Sit Assistant to set your lineup at fantasypros.com/myplaybook or on the Fantasy Pros app. And also, we are not done with live shows for the day. After Thursday Night Football wraps up, the Fantasy Dude will be live with you on Twitch to take more of your questions. So stick around afterwards. Go hang out on the Fantasy Pros Twitch. It'll be a fun show there as well. So appreciate you guys all tuning in. Good luck with your lineups. Go enjoy the game. I hope that it works out well. We get an offensive explosion here from our guys. All right. Peace out, guys.